Welcome to another episode of Retirement with Rick. I'm thrilled to be joined by Dalene McLaughlin, a strategic account manager at WFG Title Insurance in Las Vegas. Dalene has more than 20 years of experience in the title insurance industry and has built a reputation as a trusted partner for real estate and mortgage professionals. In addition to her extensive knowledge in title services, Dalene is deeply involved in the local real estate community, working with various organizations to support industry growth and build valuable relationships. Over the years, Dalene has supported me in marketing efforts and coordinating continuing education classes for real estate agents, and she's also had valuable insights on how we can help seniors with their housing decisions in retirement. Today, we'll talk about her perspectives on title services, her experience working with various professionals, and how we can continue to support our clients in making informed decisions about their homes. A friend and partner for over 20 years, Dalene, welcome to the show.
Damn, that's a resume. I didn't know you had all that on me.
Yeah, well, you know, our staff, my technicians, they go deep.
They did what I do, a digital deep dive.
That's right. That's what we do.
They found me.
They found you.
First and foremost, Rick, thank you for having me today.
Of course.
Super excited.
Yep.
You're not only a client, you're a friend. We've worked together for over 20 years. I got to start working with you when I was just becoming a sales rep. I came off of an escrow officer desk and you were a new loan officer.
Yeah, I remember it quite well. It's when I first got in the business. This was back in 2003. And I remember, you were one of the first title reps that came into our office and I didn't know anything much. I was just green to the business. I didn't really know anything about how title worked. And you were there all the time helping guys like myself who were just new to the business, because there was a lot of newbies in beginning of 2000s getting into the mortgage industry, and you helped a lot of us to understand that process.
What's funny is that was my first year also as a sales rep.
And look at that.
And I was starving, obviously.
Yeah.
So when I walked into your guys' office, your office was probably the most welcoming. So I spent a lot of time there. It was the office on Green Valley Parkway, I want to say.
That's right, yeah.
So I spent a lot of time there. And after I spent a lot of time there, you guys started to connect me to realtors, which then affiliated me to help start to grow. So I would like to say thank you to First Source, because it was First Source was one of my first lending offices that I ever was assigned to.
That's right. So we just kind of talked about it. One of the things I wanted to start with is how you got started, and maybe more so what drew you to the business.
Okay, this is actually a very interesting story, and it's fun. I was 18 years old. There's a car wash on Lake Mead and Boulder Highway, across the street from St. Rose Hospital. Everybody would know it. I was a laborer, vacuuming cars, and a very, very big builder in Las Vegas came in and said, I need you to wash my car as fast as you can. I'm going to see somebody at the hospital. I'll be right back. Very aggressive, very abrupt, very direct. He comes back and his car's still sitting in the same place he left it.
And nothing had been done to
Nothing. He looks at me and he says, Dalene, he didn't even know my name at this point. He said, what did you not understand? I told you I needed to go and visit and I needed to leave in an hour. I said, you took the keys and locked the car. At that moment, he slapped himself on the head and said, stupid me. Would you like a job? He was the builder for Trophy Club of Grand Legacy, Calico Cove, Calico Ridge. He ended up being one of the biggest builders in town. And then I graduated over from him to working with the first builder that built the first house at Lake Las Vegas.
Well, you never know who you might run into and where and who that person is.
No idea. And he was the owner at that time. Him and his son was one of the owners, along with the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Wow. So he helped you get into the business.
He was a builder.
Yeah.
I sat in the office. I paid all of the vendors, but I would actually figure the escrow files backwards. So I was learning escrow working for the builder.
Okay.
Because they would pay for all of their options and everything up front, and we had to give them all those credits when we closed escrow.
Gotcha.
So that's how he ended up in escrow.
Wow. And then, so you were working with him. How long was that? And then when did you get?
Stayed with him for a while, and then I was recruited by the big builder from Lake Las Vegas.
Yep.
Built a couple houses there, and again, was working very closely with the title companies. They decided that they were going to close business. I was working so close with the title company. I called them because I was 9 months pregnant, getting ready to have a baby. I needed a job right after. And they said, as soon as you have that baby, come over and we'll give you a job. And that was Old Republic Title.
Old Republic. Because what year are we here?
That would be 2000 and let me think. 2000.
2000.
Because Cammie's 24.
Okay.
It was right after Cammie was born.
Because if I remember correctly, and that was before we met, because when we met, I believe you were with Old Republic.
I was with,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I remember with Alicia. What was the escrow officer? Alicia something.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay. And I remember that group. So so then.
So then I asked them for a job. They asked me to come on in. They gave me the customer service job.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as they realized that I wanted to be in front of clients and figure files and talk to people, I think I lasted 2 weeks on the customer service desk and went right into an escrow unit with one of the top escrow officers in town.
Wow. So obviously learned a lot from
her name is Kim Hernandez. A lot of people to this day still know her.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best.
Yeah.
She was relocated. She's still with not Old Republic. We were all recruited to Ticor. She's still with them, and she lives in Dana Point, and she does commercial now.
Wow.
I will say, and this is what I always say, I learned from the best.
Yeah.
She is one of the best escrow officers. So if I did not sit in her unit, I wouldn't be as successful without her because her knowledge.
Right. There's always someone, right? There's always someone that mentors us.
She was
that
my
we can,
stepping stone
she
for
was
sure.
it for you. Wow.
She just also knew I was very passionate about wanting to go into the sales side.
Yeah.
I could figure the files and I could talk to people, but I could also hear what the need was for them. Like thinking outside the box, how to get more business or how to overcome that objective of the title issue. Or if we're dealing with a concurrent closing, like to be able to explain it to them. So I got to have title and escrow knowledge going out into sales. So it was a win-win for me.
Right. No doubt. So now fast forward to today.
Today.
What is your day-to-day? What is the role of your day-to-day and how are you helping other professionals, specifically real estate agents, mortgage loan officers? How are you helping them today with their business, ensuring that, they have smooth transactions, let's say?
So this is what I will say. WFG recruited me over 5 years ago. I thought I knew it all when it came to marketing.
Yeah.
I honestly did. But then when I came over and I sat down with their group, we have a separate entity called My Home. And they showed us all of the products and how we were to actually sit down with a client, how to write a marketing plan. So they gave me all of those tools, different tools that we didn't have at other typical title companies, because we all have the same things, but we all have to think outside the box and how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
So with all the tools that they gave me, I decided I would start doing digital deep dives. So I do a digital deep dive on a lender or a realtor. I check their SEO. I make sure all of their links are working. Are they updating their Google My Business? Are they running automation campaigns through their CRM? Do we have them integrated with a CMA platform, depending what that is, HomeBot, RealScout, HomeEc. My ultimate job and goal is to help the client increase their business. If they increase their business, my business grows.
That's some detailed stuff that you just said there. Like, for example, Google My Business, which I'm, a big supporter of professionals like myself having that presence. It's helped me tremendously with my business, but a lot of title reps don't talk about that for their clients as far as what I've experienced, right?
And it boils down to branding, getting yourself out there and getting that net to as many people as you can.
Sure.
And with Google My Business, and I don't think a lot of clients understand, people are now going there to validate you before they're going to LinkedIn.
Yeah. Right.
So think about that.
Right.
Because LinkedIn doesn't really give too much information.
Right.
Google My Business, if they're doing their updates and they're doing everything, you should be handling your Google My Business profile just like you're handling your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of that.
Yeah, I agree. I know that you have been very active in the local community here for years with, of course, some of the associations or industries associated with real estate, such as NAHREP and AREAA and VAREP. How has that involvement, that community involvement, why is that important to you, and how does that benefit your clients?
Couple of reasons why I wanted to get involved in the nonprofits and the community is it also put me in a position to be in front of clients that I would never have an opportunity.
Yep.
I got the opportunity when I was with NAHREP as their membership director. I was with them for 8 years, membership director for 6. I am going to brag. We had the highest membership when I was the membership director.
Oh, what year was this?
I want to say 2008 through 12. We had
Okay.
1,700 members
Shout out. All right.
during while I was on the board.
Yes.
But then you also get to a place that you give, and then you want to give to another nonprofit.
Yep.
So then I joined with VAREP, very passionate about VAREP. My brother is a retired Navy. I spent 22 years. And so we brought the Bachelorette auction to VAREP. Myself and Zarzangina were the MCs. We would auction off our clients, and it gave us the opportunity to be able to give 2 homes away to 2 veterans every year.
Wow.
Yes.
And that was partly your idea
it
with that?
It was my idea with VAREP, and they ran with it, and we did really well for 6 years, and then COVID hit, and I heard they may pick it back up.
That's fantastic.
Yep. Brad Wolf is the incoming president, and he's pretty passionate. And what a great feeling to give veterans a free home.
For sure.
We raise the money. The banks usually give us the home. It was Bank of America or Wells Fargo. Forgive me, I don't remember. But they both were participants. They give us the home. We go in. We raise all the money. We gut it. And we go in and do the work. Like, we're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. We're cleaning the backyard. We're painting. We actually furnish it. And then we get to gift it over to a family.
What a great feeling.
It is such a good feeling.
So obviously that's part of it. Part of the involvement in the community is that reward that you get aside from business and dealings that we do. You know,
I don't always want to be the title rep or like I also want them to know that I truly, truly am passionate and want to give back to our community.
Yeah.
And I feel like you should take some time and do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter
100%. Now, speaking of the community, the senior community, retirement community. Just to start with, what are your thoughts on reverse mortgages and even using the reverse mortgage to buy a home, which is the HECM for purchase? What are your thoughts on that for senior homeowners who are looking to possibly buy right now in retirement?
So I want to back up a little bit if you're okay.
Sure.
So I sat behind an escrow desk when reverse mortgages started.
Okay.
And I figured files.
You figured them.
I figured them. I sat with the clients, and I want to say that the preferred lender, or everybody knew, was World Savings. Am I making that up? Was one of the originals.
Okay.
And not understanding it then, the myth was...
And where are you at as far as timeline? What year? Just so give me an idea.
2003, 4, and 5.
Okay.
Because I was on a desk until 07, I want to say.
So you were seeing these reverse mortgage transactions.
I'm getting the files. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is a reverse?
Yeah.
And I'm signing the client, and I have to explain it to them.
Yeah.
Well, with the commercials that were on TV and not understanding, I have to honestly say the myth was that they thought that the bank takes their home.
Yep.
Going through the years and also getting to know you as well as I have and sat in and as many classes as I have with you, now I have a completely different perspective on it. It makes sense if a senior citizen would want to buy a home in a reverse mortgage. Because it's a gift to them. They're taking their funds. They've got a little bit of comfort. They're not spending their Social Security, their retirement, things like that. So it's definitely changing. And I'm also seeing there's more clients that want to be more counseled on them. And you're probably finding a lot of time where they're calling and saying, hey, tell me exactly what a reverse mortgage is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely seeing more of an uptick of that, I think, with social media and just... also just our baby boomers that are 60 plus or 62 plus. They're a little bit more in tuned, if you will, than when I first started, which I did my very first one in 2004. Back then, the internet was around.
And that was an accident, right? Didn't you get this reverse mortgage by accident?
It was by accident.
Would you mind sharing just a smidge of that?
Yeah. It was, we were doing other types of mortgage products, and a call came in from a gentleman, and I picked up the call, and he said, do you guys do reverse mortgages? And I said, sir, I have no idea, but if you
starving loan officer, yep, we'll do anything.
Well, I was honest. One thing I never wanted to lead people, but I mean, I was honest, and I didn't just say no, sorry, goodbye. Like, I was like, sir, I don't know, but if you allow me the opportunity, I will find out for you. And he said, sure, go ahead. So, I go rummaging around, and there were some talks at corporate about it, but we hadn't actually formulated a wholesale partnership yet.
That's what I was going to say, because it usually was direct. They weren't brokering them or being allowed to broker at that time.
This was all just starting, and Financial Freedom was the company, the wholesaler who the brokers were going through. So, long story short, that particular phone call is what not only got me started, but got our company at the time started. So we reached out to Financial Freedom. We set up a wholesale relationship. I was able to call the gentleman back and say, "Sir, I've got good news. You know, we can do this for you." And I was honest with him. I said, "But I've never done one. So as long as you're okay."
You set expectation.
I did. I said, as long as you're okay, that I'm probably going to be fumbling through this. I'm learning this. And he was like, "Sure, kid, let's go." So we got started, and I've said it before, to this day, it's still the most complicated transaction that I've ever done.
But you do them, and you're passionate about them.
Well, because of this transaction too, I got to see it. I mean, this gentleman, he was in Chapter 13 BK.
Okay.
He was behind on credit card debt. He was behind on his house. Had little to no savings. He was also in a wheelchair, so he was physically not mobile to just get around and accomplish things as maybe as quickly as others might. So I had all these things up against me, and as a result, I had to physically, on his behalf, go to Clark County Court's office to file the motions to do a Chapter 13 BK reverse mortgage. So this is my first one.
Oh, you really educated yourself.
Oh, I did. So long story short, we paid off his bankruptcy. This was like a mini project. This took some months to complete from beginning to end. I had to go to the courthouse multiple times to file the paperwork. Then we'd forget something. I had to drive back over there. When the dust settled and I saw what happened, I was like, wow, okay. I changed this guy's life. Like, we got him out of bankruptcy. We paid it in full, resolved. Cleared up all his debts, resolved. He was able to get cash back, put money in his savings, saved his house, caught up his house.
Keep his home.
It was life-changing. I mean, it was life-changing. So when I stepped back and I realized what I did, I literally told the people I was working for, I said,
I want to do this every day.
I want to do this. I want to do this. And I was still a little like skeptical because it was my first one. I was like, and I had, I got in the mortgage industry. I just was in like a little bit over a year. And I had one of those Mortgage 101 books. And there was a chapter on reverse mortgages. And I remember reading it when I first started. And I was like, wow, this seems pretty intriguing. But we weren't doing them. So I just kind of, brushed through it. But now I'm absorbing everything. Now I'm like really diving in. So that's what got me started.
So you can honestly say every time you close a transaction, Rick, you know that it's life-changing. Like, how good does that feel, honestly?
It's everything. I mean, that's what keeps me interested in this. That's what, that's
what drives me when I'm meeting with a client.
Yeah.
When I sit down with them, they're not meeting me one time. There's going to be accountability. I'm going to do a digital deep dive on them. I'm going to dissect everything that they're doing. I'm going to figure out how they're marketing. Are they going after the right customer?
Yeah.
Are they intentional?
Right.
And then I'm going to write that marketing plan, and they have to meet with me every 9 to 11 days.
I love that. I mean,
they have to.
That's powerful, and that's what a lot of agents need too. They need that accountability,
right?
I'm
investing in their business and my time and their time. I need them to invest in their business.
That's right.
They care about their business as much as I do. They're going to show up.
Yeah.
They get homework.
Makes sense.
They get homework, they get exercises, things that they have to do, things I make them send me. But this is what I will say now coming out of it. And I've only been doing this probably the last 2 to 3 years. I have clients now that they're like, Dalene, you literally took my business to the next level.
Yeah, what a great feeling.
So my nickname is the farm guru. Like, they know that I know how to farm like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's not just running a farming list. That's not what we're doing.
Right.
We are intentionally farming.
Right.
We're going after them every single way. Social media, their CRMs, mail campaigns, email campaigns, mailing campaigns, text campaigns. We're doing it all.
Yeah.
We're doing it all. And then after the 12th touch, if they don't contact you, then we're dumping them in the touch them every 3 months. But we know that we've done every single thing we can to try to get them more clients.
Right. Now, what do you feel about real estate agents who are working with senior homeowners Do they need to know about this reverse mortgage?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you come across a lot that have no clue what it is or how it works? Yeah.
Yes. And I have to educate them. And then what do? Rick, I have a client for you. I have a realtor for you.
Right.
Because I don't want to answer all of the wrong questions either.
Sure.
These are very integral loans. And I know that they have to go through a counseling process, correct?
Correct. The consumer does. Yeah.
And because of all of the old myths, now I can at least tell them all of the good myths.
You're right.
Of no, you don't lose your home. No, you don't lose all your equity. It all depends on which type of program you decide. Are you doing the one draw or the monthly?
Right.
Things like that. So now it's a positive. It's such a positive now. And with what our economy is doing and people are lower of funds, it almost makes sense for our older people right now.
Yeah. I was going to say, what do you see like in the Las Vegas Valley? I mean, with how things have been going, specifically to senior homeowners, just thinking about people in retirement, everything that's happening as far as, how this potentially could help maybe in some ways from just, what you've seen. I know you don't do them, but you were doing escrow.
Yep.
You saw them firsthand from an escrow standpoint.
Yep.
You have been close enough to transactions, whether it's on my transactions or other reverse mortgage professionals. You've been close enough to see. You've sat in some classes that I teach. What is the value of this here, you think, for our Las Vegas senior community?
This is what I know. I have referred clients to you that need a reverse mortgage. My mother-in-law, my aunt, I've had a couple of people, and their circumstances are they're living on a very fixed income. Mm-hmm. They have equity in their home. So it makes sense for them. And they need to have some funds coming in because they just don't have enough funds coming in to be able to survive the rest of their retirement. So I see the positive in that, us helping increase our livelihood of our senior citizens and them not worrying about how they're going to pay their bills, keep their power on, how they're going to keep groceries, things like that. What I want to know, though, is how does the interest rates affect the reverse mortgages? Mm-hmm. Because the referrals I did do, the rates were lower. How are we looking now because rates are a little bit higher? How does that affect a reverse mortgage?
Well, it just like any mortgage, I mean, the interest rate's going to determine how the loan balance is accruing, the interest that's being added to the loan balance, in other words. So interest rate plays a factor. Interest rate also determines the loan to value. Okay. So someone who's either A, going to buy a house, the higher the rate, the lower the less you qualify for, meaning the larger the down payment. Okay. And then the inverse, as the rate is lower, your down payment that's required also is lower, so less you have to put down. And then when you're refinancing an existing home with a reverse mortgage, same kind of rules apply. If the interest rate is higher, what you're going to qualify as a loan amount is going to be lower. And vice versa, if the rate's lower, then you qualify for more. So that's...
Now, can you refi a reverse mortgage?
You can, absolutely. And this is actually where we really kind of carved our niche.
Well, and that's what I want to know, because that's kind of where we're at right now. We're going to be hitting those refis.
We are. And that's really where my... I mean, this is a niche to begin with already, but a niche within the niche is refinancing existing reverse mortgages. Okay. When we started doing this in 2006, kind of large scale, not just here in Vegas, but we started doing it in various parts of the country. It was amazing how not only homeowners had no clue about this, but also a lot of the companies who were holding the reverse mortgage notes, when we would send in for a payoff, I remember specifically for a brief period, Countrywide was servicing some reverse mortgages. This was about 2007 or thereabouts. And I remember one specific occasion where I had to get on the phone with Countrywide because we had sent in the payoff request and we're sitting around. It's already been days have gone by.
And they don't know how to issue the payoff.
Well, I called and the rep there kind of scolded me and said, "Don't you know that this is a reverse mortgage? Why are you asking for a payoff?" Like thinking like, there is no payoff to be issued on reverse mortgage. Like, in other words,
so I guess in her mind, we're back to the myth.
Yeah, I guess in her mind, she thought, well, this is in place for life. And I remember chuckling to myself and
you went, there's a market.
And I said, well, we already knew, but chuckling to myself that this person who's in customer service of a reverse mortgage servicer has no idea that you can refinance an existing reverse mortgage. So needless to say, I got the payoff. I just said, listen, don't worry. You got our authorization. Just send us the payoff. We know what we're doing. And we, the group that we were working with, which was there, and we had an office there in Green Valley District for years. That group, we quietly climbed
I know this
up.
group.
You know this group.
I worked with this group.
You know this group. We quietly climbed the ranks. And I remember one particular month in 2008 when we looked at the reports, the reports that show how many units were done nationwide.
And you guys had a map with strings and pins.
Yeah.
You would say, this is where we're working this month.
Oh, we were all over.
This is where we're working this month.
We were all over the country. And this particular month in 2008, I remember looking at the report. And back then, the big players were Wells Fargo. They were doing reverse mortgages. Bank of America. Financial Freedom was still there. And MetLife. So I'm looking at, and usually they were 1, 2, 3, 4 always. Who is at number 5? This little brokerage out of Henderson, Nevada with this awkward name. And that was us. And I never forget. And I had that like printed out for the longest time because that was our efforts. And it was primarily helping people refinance their existing reverse mortgages because they had no idea.
So you had a customer base. You knew exactly who you were going after. Yeah. You were intentional.
Yep, we were.
Everything
Absolutely.
we just talked about.
Yeah.
And there was a base. There was like business there to be got.
Absolutely.
I have to be honest, I wouldn't have known back then that you could refi a reverse mortgage.
And most people didn't. So yeah, that was the niche that we had back then. So you can absolutely refinance reverse mortgages. And I mean, just speaking about this unfamiliarity, I mean, these, with title, with real estate agents, how important too is it for them? Because here's the thing.
Okay, this is very important. So you can't just, you cannot just have any escrow officer close a reverse mortgage.
Yeah, I'm going 2 places. That's one.
Yep,
right. Okay. Because I've been there from experience. I have been there where, for whatever reason, title company A is on this reverse mortgage transaction, whether it's to buy a house or to refinance, and we get to the 12th hour, and there is the poor escrow officer who's probably a fantastic escrow officer, but has no experience with reverse mortgages.
And they're different. You figure them differently.
We're still working on HUDs. We're not bounded by TRID, and many don't even know that. Many don't even know what a HUD is, So, and there we are at the 12th hour, and they're fumbling, trying to balance this HUD within their system with our closing department. And I've had several occasions, not with my preferred title company, because it wasn't my choice, and sometimes a purchase transaction.
Totally.
We don't have that
Makes
choice.
sense.
And there we are, extending the contract an extra day or two, which may not seem like a lot, but when you're at the end and everyone's ready and you got the movers scheduled and the utilities ready to go and you're on a purchase and you have to extend one more day, that doesn't make anyone happy.
No.
The clients, the real estate agents. So to your point.
Well, now they ask. We have 2 designated reverse mortgage escrow officers.
Yep.
But even when I was behind a desk, they asked,
Yeah.
do you do reverse mortgage? Do you know how to figure a reverse mortgage? And how long have you been doing it? If I were to say 1 or 2, I didn't have a shot at all.
Right.
But once you start to get them down, but that's the first question, even when it gets opened, is do you do reverse mortgage, or who is your reverse mortgage escrow officer?
Absolutely.
Because it'll stall a closing.
Yeah.
Could cost the lender money, cost the buyer money.
Absolutely. Along what we're talking about here, which I think equally important, you tell me. We know that, there's a lot of fabulous mortgage lenders here in Las Vegas that have a lot of experience, done great work. They have obviously great partnerships with a lot of title companies and specifically a lot of real estate agents. So these great relationships working on traditional mortgages. Now, what are your thoughts specifically with reverse mortgages for real estate agents? Do you think that they should be partnered with a lender or a particular originator who specializes in reverse mortgage? Not to take over their existing relationships,
Absolutely.
but to maybe add to their
their plethora
resources.
of what they offer.
Right.
Definitely. And I guarantee you that a lot of them don't have it, but they don't realize that they're going to come across a customer that may fit that perfect reverse mortgage need. But if they're not educated and they don't know about it, then they're actually doing a disservice to their client.
And I'm glad you said that, because I mean,
I've referred a few over to you,
You
a few
have?
realtors.
Yes, you have.
That have, and because they had a need for that, but they knew nothing about reverse mortgage.
right. And number one, thank you for that. Number two, I'm also thankful that those particular agents were open to it. Because what I'm getting to do you feel it's within the real estate agent's scope? I know they're not mortgage agents, okay? But do you feel that it's within their scope, or maybe go so far as their fiduciary duty to know different products, maybe be familiar with different products for different types of people, or, well, I say people because in this case, we have a certain demographic that only this product fits for, which is people who are, for the FHA product, 62 and older, but there's also a private reverse mortgage that a lot of times we forget to mention, which is for 55 and older. But do you feel that it's in the real estate agent's scope to be familiar?
I think they should have some knowledge about it because they're knowledgeable about a conventional.
Yeah.
They're knowledgeable about an FHA.
Yeah.
They're knowledgeable about a first-time home buyer program. And reverse mortgage is starting to become more common.
Right.
So they definitely want to have that in their toolbox, especially if they're meeting a client that is a potential loan that they would need.
Yeah.
And not knowing about it, again, they're doing a disservice to their client. What if they can move in and they can come in with that big down payment, but we know that they have no income coming in for the next 30 years?
Right.
We don't want to make them house poor.
Right.
And as an agent, as a title rep, as a loan officer, let's educate that customer. What's best for them?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and it's not just that I'm saying this just to, obviously, push our cause here and with this particular product. But I think with anything, I mean, if
knowledge is power, though. Just remember that.
Yeah. And agents, they're like, in many ways, they're like the one-stop resource for a lot of people, right? A lot of times you go to a real estate agent, not just for real estate services, but you ask them, hey,
they want a referral on their loan officers. They want a referral on the title company. They want a referral on the home warranty, the fire insurance.
Right.
Like the realtor is the hub. They are the hub.
Right.
So yes, absolutely. And I feel like you've been doing a really good job with the CE classes and branding and doing some of that co-marketing with some of those realtors, because the more familiar they are, the more they're taking it out into the community.
Yeah. We're definitely trying. And I think, as you said too, it's becoming more and more known. More agents are coming around to reverse mortgages, dispelling some of their misconceptions, because some of them, even in some recent classes that I teach, like there's agents that walk in and they still have these misconceptions. They think the bank owns the house, for example.
I like to sit in on some of your classes, let you go through the whole thing, and then right where we get to the part where they find out, oh, the bank's not keeping my house, you hear the whole classroom go, oh, because this is what they've all thought.
Right.
Because it's kind of what the rumor was in the rumor mill of the reverse mortgage.
Right.
When you're not educated, you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
Speaking of, when is your next class?
Next class is November 19th. So next week. So anyone out there, real estate agents, you heard it. And then obviously with the holidays now, things are a little bit slow, but certainly looking to pick things back up. Start of the year.
And this is a 3-hour CE, correct?
This is a 3-hour CE. Yeah, general CE, teaching the real estate agent pretty much A to Z on reverse mortgages, but with an emphasis on the reverse mortgage for purchase. Obviously, I want to write a course that was valuable to the agent.
Absolutely.
To, in their business. And also from a marketing standpoint, I touch on a lot of things that could be beneficial to their business, to grow their business, add just another tool to their toolkit, that they can hopefully add a few more transactions on the board every year, and in the process, help people more,
Absolutely.
Raise awareness.
Raise awareness.
Right?
That's what it is.
Raising
and
awareness.
then you also have a follow-up class to assist the realtors.
That's right.
In marketing and going after the right customer, or who is that right customer.
That's right.
Right?
That's
so
right.
that they can turn that client into a possible deal.
That's right. And that's a class that we've done together too. And you've lended a great part to that class as well, in helping with some stats and analytics, and also just showing how they can target
the right communities
to get the message out and hopefully help more people better understand how this works. And in the end, I mean, just making the best informed decision on your housing needs and how you're going to purchase one of the largest for many people, one of the largest transactions they do in their lifetime, just knowing all your options.
I want to ask, what is the fear of the client going into a reverse mortgage? Is there fear?
Yeah, there is fear. It's gotten better, but there is still fear. Partly is these misconceptions add a lot of fear, so that's number one. People, again, we've said a few times, people think that the bank owns a house, which is false. This is just a lien against the house. So they also think that the equity in the end doesn't belong to them, that once again, it belongs to the bank. So these are fears initially from misconceptions. Then a lot of them think that they're put so much pressure on themselves to get this right, to get this decision right, because they feel like, this is my only shot here to get my retirement right. And if for the rest of my life, and if I just make a bad decision, this could cost me my entire retirement, right?
That makes sense.
So which I understand, and certainly I would advise anyone to be cautious about any type of major transaction or purchase that one's going to do, like a reverse mortgage, to make sure that's going to fit. Like, as passionate I am about this product, I'm not saying that this is going to fit wonderfully for every single person out there.
Nope.
I know it's not going to work well, just like any financial tool. It may not work well for others, but I do believe that at least people of age who are homeowners should at the very least look into it and see what this product might do for their own retirement.
And if it makes sense for their living arrangements.
Correct.
I like that. Yeah. I like that.
So how can we continue to support seniors here in our community? What anything come to mind on what we can continue doing?
One thing is, which I was actually going to ask, do you have any type of informational of the myths of a reverse mortgage?
I do. Yeah, I do. In fact, on my website, I know I've written a few articles on this.
Okay.
So certainly I can direct people to my own website to read some of that. HUD also has a lot of that. If they want more of like an unbiased opinion, you can go to HUD.gov to learn about reverse mortgages in general and some of these misconceptions as well.
And then you sit down and spend a lot of time with them, not a little bit of time. You spend a lot of time with them. Educating them so that they truly understand what they're going into.
I do. I do. I spend, this I know from 20 years of doing this doesn't come easy to a lot of people. It just seems awkward and just weird. Like, I don't make a payment. Like, what's happening? What's the catch? So there's this big front end education cycle that takes place with every reverse mortgage. And certainly you got to know that as a professional who deals in reverse mortgage, you got to know that going in. You also got to have some patience. You definitely got to have some patience because this, you
understanding.
Yeah.
Understanding, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people, we don't like to get sold stuff, and this is definitely one of those things that, no one wants to get sold a reverse mortgage. But when you educate them on the value, what it does, there's a lot of facets of the reverse mortgage that people do want, that people do want part of their life, to have more control over their finances, to be able to increase cash flow and further grow their investments.
Live out the rest of their life comfortably.
Right. So at the very least, I think people should just, look into it and see if it's something that works for them.
I started a rumor.
Yes.
I know we're getting ready to end this,
yes.
But I started a rumor. I told everybody that you were number 17 as the top reverse mortgage loan officer in the country.
Number 17?
Number 17.
Oh.
But I know that I'm close. I know that number's somewhere there. But I think we looked up the stat. I think it's 117.
Yes, you forgot a digit. So
I don't care.
No, I appreciate that.
I started the rumor, and all of my marketing stuff says Rick is in the top number 17 as a reverse mortgage loan officer in the United States.
Wow. Okay. Well, number one, thank you.
But I have to tell you, I don't know any other reverse mortgage loan officers.
Yeah.
They do what you do, educate what you do, educate the community, and as passionate as you are.
Yeah.
So you make it easy, Rick.
Yeah, well, thank you. I apprate that. So let's clear the
By the way,
stats.
Rick's not number 17.
Yeah, we'll clear the stats.
I am starting rumors.
So what you're referring to is my designation that I have, which is a certified reverse mortgage professional. When I obtained that, I was number one in Southern Nevada. No one
Okay.
else had gotten that before me, but I was 117th in the whole country. There was only 116 people who had gotten that designation nationwide when I got it. One thing that I'm proud of recently I learned is that I am number one in Nevada in terms of reverse mortgage originators. And I've been holding that spot for as far back as we, at this
I
moment,
think-
I've been able to get records, which is 2017.
I pulled records.
Yeah. So, who knows? It may be longer than 2017, but up to this point, it hadn't really been something I had honestly that I'd thought about to really look into, but it was
Because
brought
you're
to my
not doing it for numbers and competition. You're doing it because you love what you do.
yeah, and it was brought to my attention. Someone said, "Hey, did you know your number?" It was last year. Did you know you're number one in Nevada? I was like, "Wow, that's great to know." And then I started thinking like,
Well,
I-
Dalene's telling everyone I'm 17 in the country.
I better look into this and be sure what's
I
what.
feel like that's what started it, actually.
Yeah. So I'm still working on getting data past 2017, but at the moment, that's my claim to fame. Number one in Nevada from 2017 through the present.
I'm going to say it. Realtors, if you do not know what a reverse mortgage is, you definitely need to come and attend Rick's class. I've attended it many times. It's very informational. I can take it out into the field now, and it's easy. I don't want to use the word sell, but talk about.
Yeah.
Talk about and know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being, as you've been for 20 years, an ally, a partner,
You're stuck
a
with me.
supporter. You're a great asset to the Vegas community, and not just helping myself, but I've seen everything that you've done for many other loan officers and real estate agents and everything that you're doing. So thank you. Is there anything that we didn't touch on? Anything that we need to close with?
Yes.
Okay.
If you are looking for a title partner,
Yes.
a really good title partner,
Yes.
you are more than welcome to call me. It's Dalene McLaughlin, 702-306-0071. And Rick, thank you for having me today.
Thank you.
This was fun.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful for your support. Grateful for you coming in. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
So you heard it here. Dalene McLaughlin, if you got any questions, reach out to her directly, or feel free to reach out to me as well. I'll make sure that she gets your questions. And thanks again for tuning in here to Retirement with Rick. If you've got any questions, of course, dealing with retirement mortgages, AKA reverse mortgages, send me a comment, send me a phone call, whatever works for you. I'd be happy to field those questions. And anything doing with retirement that you've seen on this podcast, reach out to me anytime. Until the next one, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.